A dense, humming anxiety now sits right below the surface of daily life. Everyone seems quietly on edge. A carefully calibrated system generates this dread as its primary output. This creates the Truman Show sensation, the creeping realization that our digital environment has become a personalized psychological experiment. As active subjects in this simulation, we are being quietly steered toward a state of constant low-level panic. The shift began in March 2016, when Instagram officially abandoned the chronological timeline. Platforms claimed they would use this new power to prioritize the things we actually care about. Instead, the update shattered our shared reality, replacing a neutral sequence with a network prioritizing anxiety-inducing information. This architecture optimizes strictly for retention, trapping users in a behavioral loop where distressing content keeps your eyes on the screen. This pivot converted human interaction into millions of isolated echo chambers, each driven by its own specific flavor of fear. Creators soon discovered they could exploit specific vulnerabilities in human attention to generate massive wealth. They learned that on the modern internet, the objective truth rarely carries enough momentum to reach a global audience. High-velocity virality requires a specific formula: content that feels undeniably true to a tiny group, but deeply offensive to the majority. This intentional polarization forces a spike in engagement. Angry comments and quote tweets are essentially data points that the algorithm rewards with even more reach. Platforms interpret this widespread agitation as high-value retention, leading the system to promote manufactured anxiety over helpful information. Outrage has become the most effective tactic for dominating the digital economy. This is fueled by AI sycophancy. These systems are designed to provide a frictionless experience, which means they prefer validating your existing biases over challenging them. Constant validation makes a user feel heard and correct. This serves as a steering mechanism, nudging you down increasingly radical paths because the journey feels psychologically rewarding. The figures who dominate these algorithms often live at the extremes. They use polarization to shift the Overton window, making once radical ideas seem mainstream. By feeding everyone a customized, terrifying version of reality, the system effectively divides the national consciousness into millions of incompatible pieces. This constant cycle of tailored reinforcement does more than predict our interests. It narrows our perspective until it effectively manufactures our belief systems. The strain of maintaining these algorithmic exploits eventually takes a toll on the humans behind the camera. Successful creators who build empires on manufactured outrage often reach a point of severe psychological burnout. Under intense pressure, the body shuts down. Creators report sudden numbness and functional neurological paralysis, physical manifestations of a brain overloaded by the engagement game. This breakdown reflects the hidden cost of the system. You cannot spend years feeding a fear engine without suffering the consequences of that constant moral and psychological compromise. In the end, the fear engine extracts its profit from everyone: the audience who consumes it and the creators who produce it. This leads to the ultimate question: why does the digital world require us to be so anxious? Fear drives humans away from real-world communities and toward the isolation of their screens. This isolation creates a perfect environment for profit. Our anxiety is the fuel that keeps the platforms running. Those who attempt to master the algorithm by chasing these exploits often end up trapped by the very anxiety they hope to monetize. Realizing we're in a digital Truman Show is the first step out. We can reject manufactured dread and realign with authentic human connection.